This is Sports 845. It is September 25th, 2023, and it's great to be back talking local high school sports, and we're going to do a lot of national stuff tonight because we didn't do that last week. I am Darin Kunis, and to my right, the legendary basketball coach, Dick O'Neill, and I want to get the record straight right off the bat, Dick. Maybe you can clear it up. There are rumors swirling, Taylor Swift. It is Travis Kelce and not Dick O'Neill, right? You're not dating Taylor Swift?
We're starting early today, huh? Yeah. No. No. Not my type.
Okay, not your type, but you could get her if you wanted. I got to tell you.
Not my type.
Yeah, I told you this. My girlfriend was here last week, Allie, and she said, Dick's got great legs.
Oh, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
She said that.
All
you
right.
know that.
All right.
Dick, last week we opened up the show with some sad stuff regarding Sam Quimby.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned something, because I listen when you talk. You mentioned Sam was one of the top 10 basketball players, athletes. But let's talk basketball. One of the top 10 basketball players to ever come out of this area or within the last 50 years. I don't know verbatim what you said. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to ask you for an answer now, but you could think about it. You could spit out names at some point of some other guys that you would put in top 20 basketball players from, we'll go back as far as the old Duso League. How's that?
That's good.
You don't have to do it now. If you got a name, you can throw it out there.
Well, no, you know what? There's a lot involved here because I'm going back maybe 60 years here. Mm-hmm. And there were, multiple players that, you could put there. Obviously, there's a whole slew of players. But in my opinion, Sam was there.
Sure.
Also, obviously George Busey at Newburgh. Mm-hmm. Probably Joe Dombrowski at Burke. Mm-hmm. For a high school word, probably Kelly Young at Monticello, I would guess.
Still at Monticello.
Yeah.
And still waiting to be drafted.
Yeah, but I'm just.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
you can think
didn't
about it.
Put me on the spot. I would, I would name the old timers. Probably J.D. Conklin at Tuxedo. Mm-hmm. Players like that.
When you were at Chester,
yes.
Did you guys? I know now they have Class A, Double A, B, C.
Yeah.
Who did Chester play back then?
We played. It was only A, B, and C.
Okay, so you were C.
We were. I guess we would be a C, but in our league, was Washingtonville, Tuxedo, Florida, Otisville at the time. Goshen, mm-hmm. And then the other league were the biggest schools: Monroe, Cornwall, Highland Falls, Valley Central.
You didn't name any schools from Sullivan County. Fallsburg, Monticello, I know was a big rivalry. Where were they? Because it was a Duso League.
They were in the Duso League, and then there was the.
So you guys were in the OCL?
Yeah, we were in the OCL. We were in what they call B, the B division.
So did OCL schools play Duso schools?
Non-league, some did.
Okay.
Non-league, some did. In other words, we played Fallsburg.
Gotcha.
And when they were very good. I mean, they were very good. But when it got to section time...
Did you played against my dad then back then?
No, your dad was a little older.
Okay.
Your dad was a little older. We
still is.
Thankfully, for both of us. But we would, when the sections started, see back then, because we didn't know much about Eldred and Tri-Valley and the smaller schools up there, because we didn't play them from Livingston Manor and those schools. But the big thing in here, because there was no state tournament when we played.
Oh, no?
There was no. There was no state tournament probably until 1978. So there's a big gap in there. But our big thing was always the Orange County Championship. Mm-hmm. The A schools against the A division winner against the B division winner. And in my junior and senior years, we played O'Neill as a junior, got beat by a point or two. And then we played next year. Our big game was with Monroe Woodbury, and a game we probably got beat a couple of points there too. So,
were you? What'd you average in high school?
Well, to be honest with you, I was the fourth leading scorer on my own high school team.
Really?
Yeah.
But the best look. Fourth leading scorer.
Yeah. On my own high school team, but we were 18-3, and those kind of things.
You must have had a ton of rebounds.
And a lot of rebounds, a lot of block shots, and I scored when I had to. And
we talked about this. I saw you play when you were retired, obviously.
Right.
but I spoke to my dad.
Uh-huh.
He obviously saw you play multiple
Right.
times.
Right.
And is the assessment that you were a Phil Jackson type player? Who would you compare yourself to? He said you had very sharp elbows.
I did because I only weighed 170 pounds. But I don't know who really I would compare myself to. Somebody that, how about a Dennis Rodman, who didn't score much but played good defense, got a lot of
you
rebounds.
didn't score a lot?
No.
Not a lot of tip-ins and anything? You always looking-
No. In my college team, I was the 5th leading scorer on the team, but we won 3 national championships, and
Yeah.
I was always been a piece of the puzzle.
Greatest coaching victory you've had? And you've had a ton.
I can't probably.
Let me narrow it down for you.
Probably
Greatest coaching victory at Burke. I don't want to sell anybody short.
beating Roosevelt to get to the state championship.
State
game
championship
at
game.
Marist High School.
That was the SINQ team?
SINQ team. Yes, that was 26-0. We wound up 26-1. Got beat by Buffalo Bennett in the state championship game.
Biggest win in Monticello?
Maybe beat Newburgh and then in Fay. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. In a great game. I think the score was 73-71, but it was a really, really good game.
Gotcha. Did you go home at night ever and say I got out coached? Certainly weren't outworked
Well-
or out prepared.
Well, you'd have to ask Diane that because every night I went home, she told me I was out coached.
Is that right?
But, my teams were prepared. My teams were prepared, and they played hard. So
Let's go through Section 9 quick because that's why we do the show. In Double A in football, you had games last week. We were pretty much spot on with some of these lines.
Right.
I'll give you an example of one. We had the Wizards as a 4-point favorite over Lords. They win the game 16-8. And Washingtonville has to be one of the bigger stories in Section 9 football this year. They had a coaching change. They're 4-0. They have New Paltz next week, and they sit there undefeated right now.
that to me is one of the biggest upsets in a while because Lords won the Class B champion or the Class A championship last year, and was supposedly coming back. Although they lost a lot of good players, they were still good, and I still consider them very good. I consider that a really huge upset. Now I haven't seen Washington play. I'm just going on past things, and times change, but that was a huge upset, I think.
They're 4-0. Cornwall, we talked about. They're 4-0. It's Cornwall's division every year until proven differently.
Right.
Menacing Valley, Kevin Gallagher, we talked about it, got his 100th win and got inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame, New York State Wrestling Hall of Fame. Kevin's going to be with us hopefully next week.
Congratulations to him. Yeah, he's done quite well in everything he's touched. So that's
Good man.
a good thing. He's
Warwick
a good man.
is 3-1, but honestly, you've heard the term paper tiger. I did watch them play. They lost to Goshen. Not a knock on Goshen, but I don't think Warwick is going to vie for a championship and win Class A.
I don't think so either.
Okay. Lords, you mentioned they're 2-2. They have a bye at Monticello next week.
Yeah, but you know what? They're down a class now. I only think they're. Are they in that same division, or did they drop a class?
They're an A. That's all I know. I just looked at yours.
They are an A. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I'll tell you what. If you don't prepare for Lords, you're going to get beat. Let's
Yes.
put it that way.
Yes.
I don't care who you are.
Double A, Middletown won again, 3-0.
Right.
Their schedule gets tougher.
Right.
Newburgh, Free Economy, Billy Bianco does a fantastic job. They're 3-0. All these coaches do a great job. Sierra at Monroe does a great job. They're 2-1. But that's going to be an interesting Class A, Double A is going to be very interesting. You got 3 or 4 teams that are very good.
Really.
Class B, Saugerty's 3-1. Port 2-2. Marlboro is 3-0. They had a win over, I believe they beat Goshen in a tight game.
Right.
Marlboro always plays
Marlboro
defense.
probably be the team to beat, I would guess.
Gotcha. That's really the football. We'll delve into soccer a little bit next week. But that's your Section 9 football. John Stevens at Goshen doing a hell of a job. Spoke to him today. He wants to come in.
Okay.
And Damien over Port, who always does a great job, another person. So we have some coaches lined up for next week and the week after, just not this week. This portion of the show, Section 9 report, brought to you by Artist Alley at Elite Studios, Suite 400, Studio 12B, that is, 12B, Dick, in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Take off your hat. She did your hair. Show everybody the job she did. Look at that. That's Artist Alley. If you're down in Westchester, Pennsylvania, she is the best. We will be back right after this. back. This is Sports 845. I am Darin Kunis, joined by legendary basketball coach Dick O'Neill, my partner, my friend. This portion of the show is brought to you by Village Pizza, located right in the middle of Goshen. They've been in business, Dick, for older than you. They've been in business for 70 years. John Paul, no relation to the Pope, does run an unbelievable place there. I just had 2 slices of pizza. It's great. You know, in Goshen, every other block is a pizza place. There's 6,000 people that live in Goshen. There's 4,800 pizza places. There's only one pizza place to go. They deliver. They use DoorDash. They deliver themselves. Grubhub, all the other stuff. Great prices, great food. Go in there and ask for the Pope of Pizza, John Paul. He'll take care of you. Dick, we're gonna do the NFL. I'm gonna give you some teams. You tell me if they're real, fake, and then I'm gonna give you some teams that are 0-3, and you tell me whose season is over.
Yeah.
The Miami Dolphins are still scoring. They just scored again. They scored 70 points yesterday. They're 3-0. The fear I have with the Dolphins is Tua is a hit away from no longer playing in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3-0. Are they a real team?
Yeah, they are in warm weather. I'm going to see them playing some cold weather or some inclement weather and see how they do. They did all of this without
Jalen Waddle.
Without Waddle yesterday.
Could have scored 100.
Yeah, probably would have scored 100, I'm sure. But I think they're for real. I could easily see them in a championship game.
Yeah,
I can.
And you can
Yeah.
see them in the
I
AFC.
can.
You know what?
I
I'm
can.
starting to not only buy into them, I'm
Yeah.
starting to actually like them. I love the way they play.
I do too. I mean,
It's like Air Coryell.
if you're going to watch something that's fun, that certainly is fun because a lot of them games this weekend weren't a whole lot of fun to watch.
No. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-0. They play tonight. They play the Eagles, another team that's 2-0. Who's your real team? Is Tampa for real?
I don't think so. I think they're a little thin at too many places. Again, I want to see them in a little different inclement weather also. Also, this is a good test tonight. This is a good test tonight with Philadelphia.
Yeah,
That's for
I
sure.
agree with you. I don't think Tampa is for real.
Yeah.
The team that I do think is for real and is my Super Bowl predictor in the NFC is the 49ers. They're
Oh.
very good.
Very good. I think that if I was, and I'm a lousy bettor, but if I was a betting man, I'd bet them to win it all this year.
I like the
love
49ers
and
a
they're
lot.
fun to watch.
What about Artist Alley? What about her Eagles? They're 2-0. They play Tampa tonight. Jalen Hurts.
I just don't think they played their best football yet.
Well, they
I
shouldn't,
just
yeah.
think they're just now getting their motor going. I think, maybe starting tonight, maybe
Tonight's
and
a
couple
good
more.
test for them on the
tonight's a
road
good
in
te-
Tampa.
Tonight's a real good test, but by the same time, their defense is constant. So, once their offense gets a little bit untracked, I think they're going to be very good.
I
They
do
get
too.
Gainwell. They get Gainwell back tonight.
Let me give you some teams that are 0-3, and you tell me if their season is over. The Chicago Bears are 0-3. Their defense stinks. They're 0-3.
They probably should play Colorado next.
We'll get to college.
Yeah,
But are the Bears?
they're all done. They
Done.
they got a lot of problems.
They can't make the playoffs. We're
Yeah.
crossing them off
No,
week 3.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, they have way too many problems.
The Vikings are 0-3.
You know what? I don't know. I'm not too sure about that NFC North. I think it still could win it. I think maybe 9-7 or something like up in there.
So the Vikings season is still alive.
Oh, I believe it.
Okay.
It. Yeah.
As a Jet fan,
Yeah.
I just want to point out that you might start rooting against the Vikings. I'll tell you why. I think it's obvious. They go to 0-4, maybe 0-5. Maybe Kirk Cousins is available to salvage your season. We'll get to the New York teams in a little bit,
Yeah.
but that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Here's a team that a lot of people had going to the Super Bowl, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. They're 0-2. I know Burrow is hurt. Tonight is a must-win game, and it's week 3. They can't fall to 0-3.
I'm not so sure about that. I just think Burrows will hurt a little more than we think. If he plays tonight, I'd be really surprised. They could their season could be a disaster
Should
tonight
have
if
probably
he gets
looked
hurt.
into that before I made that call.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. No, you know what? If he gets hurt tonight, it could be a season ender. The way his legs are.
Yeah, it's a calf injury. It needs
Yeah.
time to heal.
Yeah.
So, Cincy, you're not willing to cross off
No,
yet.
no.
Now, the Broncos and Sean Payton had a lot to say. He also had a lot to say about his quarterback. Told him to stop holding babies. He's not running for office. Stop looking so cute and go out and play some damn football. The Broncos gave up 70 points yesterday, and we both said it could have been 170.
Yeah.
The Broncos are not a playoff team. I
Right.
don't think we have to even
Here's
talk about the
thing.
Broncos.
Peyton made the wrong choice. All he had to do was stay on television until the guy from the Chargers, Staley, made
Brandon.
one more bonehead play, and he could have been the head coach with who's the quarterback?
Where?
At
San
the
Diego?
Chargers, yeah.
Justin Herbert.
Herbert. He could have been coaching him as opposed to Wilson. So
Gotcha.
I think the Broncos are done.
Okay. I happen to agree with you. Josh McDaniels yesterday. Did you watch that? The Raiders-Steelers game? Some of these coaches, I don't understand what they're thinking. They can go analytics all they want. Let me give you what happened, and I don't know if you watched it, Rich, but they're down 23-15. There's 2 minutes and
I saw what you're talking about.
2
Go
minutes
ahead.
and 47
Right.
seconds to go.
Right.
4th and 4 at the 6-yard line.
Right.
You need 8 points. The only way you get 8 points is by scoring a touchdown and going for 2. This guy decides to kick a field goal, go down by 5, give the ball back, and gets it back with 12 seconds to go.
Yes.
What's his thinking?
I don't understand. There were several coaching moves yesterday that were. I don't know what they're thinking, some of these guys.
But the Jets. We'll talk New York teams. First of all, before we get to New York teams, any NFL teams surprising you? Because I have one.
Surprising me?
Yeah. I know it's only 3 weeks in.
You know what? Houston now. I'm starting to pick up on C.J. Stroud. I think
Yeah, he's
done a
been
good
playing
job.
very well. He's
Yeah.
thrown for 900 yards in 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I
He's
think
been
if
very
they-
good.
I think if their defense can shore up, I think they could be pretty good. I
See-
think they could be pretty good.
So, okay, that's the game I'm talking about.
Right.
Houston's a surprise. I agree. Stroud's been better than I expected.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence is having an awful year. It's 3 games. Yes, they got to get their sea legs and everything like that. It's still 3 games, but he has looked awful. And so have the Jaguars. That's not a bad team.
No, the prediction was I expected them to come flying out of the gate. I expected them to be like 3-0 right now, and just kind of on a roll and see what was going on. But they're coming out backwards. I don't understand what's going on.
Even
there
their
either.
win was a lucky win.
Exactly. I just don't understand what they're doing.
So Trevor Lawrence has surprised me. Jacksonville surprised me. As far as the New York teams, we'll take your New York Jets first, who I root for. Well, I mean, what do you do if you're Joe Douglas? Do you ride this out? Are we going to keep telling people Zach Wilson is our starting quarterback?
Let me ask you this: how long do you think Pat Mahomes would survive with that offensive line? Just for starters,
He would fare better than Zach Wilson.
Oh no, agreed. But he wouldn't be Patrick Mahomes. I would think if.
But hold on. There's a track record with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
He has had a good line before. This isn't his rookie year. He hasn't improved a lick, and I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, me too. I am
But
too.
this season could get away from the Jets real quick.
Yeah, but don't you think if Aaron Rodgers was playing behind this line right now, that
They
he'd-
beat the Patriots,
No,
yes.
yeah, but
I don't know if they beat Dallas. They beat the
I don't know
Patriots.
if he'd have gotten this far. I think he'd have gotten hurt. Anyway, that's looking down the road. What they're doing with the Jets, they're wasting a great defensive team. They're wasting a
You
good.
see, there I'm going to disagree with you. I think they're wasting a very decent to good defense. Let's not get this team confused with the 85 Bears.
No, I'm not saying that.
That's been blown out of
But
proportion.
no, that's what I'm saying. That they shut out the Patriots out in the second half. They didn't score.
All
There
right,
was,
but the
there was
Patriots-
30 minutes to win the game.
Yeah,
and
the
they
Pa-
still could have won the game on the Hail Mary.
Yeah, the Patriots are not the greatest offense. Dallas scored at will against them. I'm talking about the first drive down the field. Buffalo, Josh Allen. Yes, you got to give the Jets defense credit. They intercepted Allen 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But I just think Allen had a bad game. Is the Jet defense good? Yes. Is it the 85 Bears? Not even close.
No. And
Zach
who
Wilson-
is? Everybody was comparing the Cowboys' defense to them.
Yeah.
The Cardinals put 28 on them yesterday.
Cardinals have put a lot of points up. That team's played well. But what I'm trying to say is
The Jets are in trouble. Let's put it
yeah,
that way.
I mean, when do we
Yeah.
pull the plug on Zach Wilson? I don't know who your answer is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you.
Yeah, but if let's just say that Minnesota wins a couple of games, they're not going to get rid of.
No, they're
you know,
not.
but
That's
they-
no.
like I said, they could win that division with.
And you're not giving up
with
a number 1 pick for Kirk Cousins.
No, exactly right. That's exactly right.
But the question is, I guess you got to ride with Zach Wilson because we can't sit here like every other caller and say you got to get rid of him. You got to have an answer of who you're going to replace him with.
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know.
Maybe they should have re-signed Mike White last year instead of giving him to the Dolphins.
What do you think Mike White's thinking? Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Anything at the Giants?
Ah,
Daniel Jones has not. The reason the Giants are 1-2 is not because of Daniel Jones.
obviously, yes. His receiving core, I don't think is really top notch. I just don't think they can create space for themselves.
We got to see what they are when Andrew Thomas is healthy and the line is healthy.
Yeah.
Because Daniel Jones can play quarterback for me any day.
Yeah,
He's
I'll
good.
go along with that. You know, you got to see how long Saquon's going to be out. That's going to make a big difference. I think it's going to make a huge difference. I think.
And there's no shame in losing to the 49ers.
No.
Losing to the Cardinals would have been shameful.
No.
But that was a comeback.
And then with the Cowboys getting beaten, coming back to them a little bit, depending on what goes on with Philadelphia, if they don't run away with it, depending on what happens. But
I don't trust the Commanders. I don't think they're
No,
very good. I think
no.
this division is Eagles 1,
Right.
Cowboys, and then the rest.
yeah,
But we'll get more into the Giants and the NFL as the season goes along.
agree. Yeah.
You already confirmed you're not Taylor
no,
Swift.
not yet.
When we get back, we'll talk some college football, and will speak to the Irishman tonight at some point. He was 2-0 last week.
He
We'll
was.
speak to the Irishman. We will be right back. This is Sports 845. I'm Darin Kunis, and to my right, Dick O'Neill. Dick, you mentioned something when we went to break, and you're right. Just going back to the NFL, Deshaun Watson looked like Deshaun Watson yesterday. And they lose Chubb, they signed Kareem Hunt, but Cleveland has one thing, they have a defense, they have a rabid fan base, and if Watson could be good, Cleveland could be good.
Exactly.
Then, you know what? As a Jet fan, you could kind of understand what Brown fans have been going through. They haven't found a quarterback either since Kosar or Sipe. Am I missing someone in between? Was there a Bernie Kosar? Who am I missing? There's got to be a quarterback that played well for the Browns after Kosar, no? They've had a lot of picks. Tim Couch. I don't know. I keep going back to Bernie Kosar.
Well, obviously,
Who did not look good. Bernie was at the game. He did not look good.
Bernie didn't look good.
No. College football. I'll tell you who impressed me. They really did. They lost, and I hate to say it because I'm a Miami fan. Notre Dame looked very good. I thought they looked very good.
Until the last 6 or 7 minutes.
Well, they decided to play with 10 players.
Yeah, well, you know, and isn't that part of it, though? Isn't that part of it?
Yeah.
You know,
But Sam Hartman is a quarterback.
He is.
They have a quarterback at Notre Dame.
They do, and he's very good. Very good.
Let me give you the top 10 after week 4 or 5, however you do it, because there's a week 0 now.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State, Florida State, Penn State, Washington, USC, Oregon, and Utah. Did you see what I mentioned there, Dick? I mentioned 4 Pac-12 teams in the top 10. Did I miss one? Utah, Oregon, USC, Washington. There's 4
Yeah,
in the top 10. 40%.
right.
I don't think any of them can win a national title. And I'll tell you why. Because they're going to knock each other out. That's a very tough conference. You take Washington. They still have to play Oregon, who I feel is the best team in that conference.
Right.
It's either them or Washington.
Right,
Until USC learns to play defense, I can't trust them.
right.
So Washington has Oregon, then they go to USC and they have Utah.
It's a rough schedule.
USC goes to Notre Dame. They're home to Utah, and then they go to Oregon. Utah has Oregon State, a team that's just outside, and Washington State, which is just outside the top 15. So you got some very good teams there. So, but I'm knocking them all out because I think they're going to knock each other out. I can't see a team going undefeated there.
Okay, but
And I don't know if you have to.
But I think one of them is going to get in the Final Four. I just
Could.
I
Could
don't
be.
know who. I wouldn't bet on who, but I think one of them will get the Final Four.
I think Georgia's a lock for the Final Four. Their schedule is not that bad this year, not that tough. They go to Tennessee and they go to the Swamp to play Florida, which is always a good game. But I think Georgia's a lock for the Final Four.
I would agree.
Michigan, I don't know if they're a lock. I'm not going to call them a lock. The only team I'm calling a lock is I'm going to call 2 teams a lock. Michigan is not one of them. Michigan at Penn State, and then they're home for the big rivalry game against Ohio State this year.
I think this is the best Michigan team he's had.
Okay.
I think.
Calling them a lock?
No, but I'm just saying. I think
Okay.
this is the best Michigan team he's had. I like the quarterback very much, and they got them 2 running backs that are, they're NFL quality.
Here's a team that I'm calling a lock based on they're good and their schedule. Texas,
Yeah,
they got their game out of the way. They went down to Alabama.
Yeah.
They won in Tuscaloosa. They have Oklahoma remaining. Obviously, they can get picked off, but I don't think they will. I like Sarkisian. Texas has Oklahoma in. I think the game is at the Cotton Bowl or something every year. Right?
Yeah. It's called the Red River.
Red River rivalry.
Yeah, they play. Yeah,
But,
they're not. They're because of Sarkisian. They're noted for their offense, but their defense will travel. Their defense is very good.
Good.
Very, very good.
And I think we all know, God forbid, Evers gets hurt. They have a pretty decent backup that the world is waiting to see. He's making $3.8 million in NIL money, and that's Archie Manning. Number 4 is Ohio State. They go to Notre Dame and get the win. Ohio State has Penn State on their schedule in Columbus, and then they go to the Big House and play Michigan. Ohio State's good. Their quarterback showed me some moxie.
I think you got to transpose that. I think Florida State's better than Ohio State.
That's fine.
I like the way they did the other night.
You know,
I really like what they did.
I was talking to somebody, and you and I, we remember the game of the year every year for 10 years was Miami,
And
Florida State.
Right.
It's shaping up. We're on November 30th. It could be back to one of the
Again,
games of the year
I
because
agree.
Miami's not bad
No, they're not bad at all.
and
They're
Duke's not bad.
very good. Very good.
I don't have Miami. I'm not going to talk about them yet.
Okay.
So we have Florida State, who you love. They're
I
very
do.
athletic. They always are.
Right,
Same as
and they have an
Miami.
outstanding quarterback too.
Yes, he had his Heisman moment.
Very did.
Penn State is better than I thought.
Me too.
To beat, I don't care. They beat a Big Ten team, not called Rutgers, who's having a decent year.
Right.
But they beat Iowa 31-0. They allowed 70 yards to Iowa. That's a good team, that Penn State team.
Again, their defense will travel, so it'll keep them in games. If their offense can win a few games for them, they should be right there.
We already talked about the final, the Washington,
Yeah.
USC, Oregon,
Yeah.
Utah. If there's a team not that I didn't mention,
Just let me back you up a second.
Go ahead.
As you're saying, these 4 are going to knock each other out. Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State could be knocking each other out of there also.
yeah, I think they can knock one of each other out. Remember,
Meaning you think one will get to the Final Four.
I think you could have a loss.
I agree.
But I think these Pac-12 teams could have 1 or 2 losses. I don't know.
That could be also. That
But
could be
yeah.
okay.
Is there a team outside the top 10 that I didn't mention? I already threw in there the Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you a team, and then we'll talk a little Colorado. Let me just give you a team out of the top 10 that I think could be dangerous. I think Alabama's done. I don't think they have any quarterback whatsoever. What do they say? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed with North Carolina. I think Matt Brown is a very overrated coach. I don't like him at all.
He's got a great player, though.
Yeah, they have a lot of great players. The team I'm going to bring up is, I'm sorry, it's Miami has, look at Miami's schedule. Miami is 4-0. They're going to go to 5-0 this week. Then they have North Carolina. Clemson, we agree, is done. They have 2 losses.
Yeah.
And what a terrible job he did. Dabo Swinney maybe can't coach unless he has 12 5-star athletes.
I understand.
But Miami's schedule is kind of favorable. November 11th at Florida State is the season for both those teams.
That could be. That
You
could
know?
be. That could be.
Any other teams?
Where is that game? That could be a great
It's
game.
at Florida State. It's in
Okay.
Tallahassee.
All right.
Let's talk Colorado Buffaloes real quick. The Miami Dolphins scored 70 points.
Mm-hmm.
Give the coach of Oregon credit because he could have scored 70 points
Right.
either. And I
Good.
thought he was gonna.
I thought so, too.
I mean, they scored their first touchdown and went for 2.
Yeah.
Then they faked a punt from their own 17. He was toying with Colorado. Dion didn't get out coached. He got his line is his Achilles heel on both sides.
He got outmanned. Is what
Yeah,
he got.
that's what he got.
outmanned.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of joy with some people about that. I
Yeah.
kind of like Dion myself.
I think Dion's done an incredible job.
But I think all this crap, stepping on the O and this guy, this personal,
Stupid.
the
He's
personal
making-
nonsense. is just getting out of hand, which is,
But he's making things personal.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I
I'm-
think maybe
yeah.
he's doing that
Yeah.
for a reason.
yeah.
You know? Colorado has USC this week. That could get even uglier.
And he's doing all these things on the road now. He's
Yeah.
got all these things on the
Yeah.
road. So.
Yeah. You know, but Dion.
Does he
listen,
have Utah yet?
No, I don't think they play Utah.
Okay.
I
That's
will-
no big deal.
I will double check that
Yeah.
for you, but I don't think they play Utah. Let me just double check that. Who's your Heisman Trophy winner at this point?
Oh, Williams, I think.
Khalid Williams,
Yeah,
quarterback
yeah,
USC.
I think.
I don't think they play Utah. Let me see.
The kid at Washington is making.
Michael
a good,
Felix, the
yeah,
transfer from Indiana.
Yeah.
Utah does not play Colorado, but
Who does Colorado play? Who's Colorado got left? Look down.
that's I'll find it for you right
look
now,
on
Coach. Colorado. We should know these things. We don't look
No,
professional
I know that.
right
I
now.
know that. I know that. We should have that. But if we had everything, we wouldn't get it done in the time period we have either.
Hold on.
No big
Colorado. Here it is. Schedule. They are 3-1. They
Mm-hmm.
lost to Oregon. They're at USC. They're home to USC,
Okay.
and that's a 10 a.m. start
Right.
in Colorado. So they lose that game 3-2. Then they go to Arizona State, no gimme. Stanford at UCLA, Oregon State, home to
Who's very
Arizona.
good.
Oh, they do play Utah. Washington. Colorado might win 2 more games. And you know what?
And that would
That's
be
not bad.
that would be an improvement after winning one the year before. Yes.
Yes, I agree with you. We're going to take a break right now. When we get back, we're going to get the Irishman on here because Monday night has 2 games this time of year, and the Irishman's got to pick his games. This is Sports 845 on the line from an undisclosed location. He refuses to tell us where he's at. But, you know, Dick, I had dinner twice this week at 2 Railroad Avenue in Brew. And they had live music there one day. I had the Chicken Francaise one night. I had the ziti special, which turned into the Penny Olive Vodka special the next night. The food is excellent. The place is great. That's Brew, right on 2 Railroad Avenue. If you're going to any games, anything, if you want to watch the games, if you want to watch the horse racing, you go to Brew. The Irishman will tell you every slow horse in the race. Irishman, are you there? Can you hear us?
I'm here. I'm here in this beautiful evening here in Orange County, and it's an Irish day.
Jimmy, before we get started, obviously I want to wish you a very, very happy Yom Kippur. I know it's very important to you and my partner, Dick O'Neill. It is the Day of Atonement. You have nothing to atone for, though. 2-0 last week on Monday night.
Well, me and Coach O'Neill, we got done fasting today, and we had some corned beef and cabbage, and we had a big feast.
Did you? Okay, so your fast was an easy fast.
Very easy.
But again, you have nothing to atone for. 2-0 last week. You got 2 games tonight. Take us through it.
Well, I think I'm going the same way. I'm going to give you one favorite and one dog. The dog, I think Tampa Bay will give the Eagles more than they can handle. I think it's a setup game. And I really believe the Bucks will win outright.
Bucks
That's right.
plus
Bucks
5.5, and you're
outright.
saying sprinkle something on the money line.
Absolutely. Little pizza money, as they say in the trade.
In the trade. Now, the next game, who do you like in that game? Cincinnati's in a must-win situation against the Rams, who have been better than people expected.
We are in a must-win situation, and to find out if Burrow's going to go, I think he's going to give it a try. The game, I love Cincinnati to win the game by 10.
Cincinnati's going with the favorite, and he's telling you to bet the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. He says, don't even worry about the 5.5. Sprinkle it on the money line. Jimmy, is there anything in college football right off the bat that has surprised you? Tell me.
Surprisingly, I tell you, I'm surprised that Duke is in the top 20, and they're going up against Notre Dame. But that game might be a trap game for Notre Dame. I think they have a big game coming up.
They have USC on their schedule coming up soon, yeah.
In the SEC, I believe as well. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. But like I said, Darin, Mondays are tough for me to look ahead into the.
You take it very seriously. I get it.
College game, so
Irishman, anything in the NFL? The Dolphins for real? Are the Dolphins a Super Bowl caliber team?
They have some damn offense, I'll tell you that much. I mean, I don't think they want to score 70. It just so happened. Now, are they that good? I don't know, but you know what? NFL teams figure out NFL offenses. So let's revisit this in about 5-6 years.
That is Brew on 2 Railroad Avenue, right in the middle of Goshen. It's a great place. I tell you, it's a great bar that the Irishman's family has been in the bar business for all the years, and they do it right. They have a great staff. You don't have to wait more than a second to get a drink, and they had live music there. Jimmy, if you speak to Jimmy, ask him if they have live music coming up this week too.
No live music. Next live music is going to be a Sunday, Funday, October 8th. We got nothing but the great Hudson Blue coming in, 2 to 5. Sure to be a great time. Come on down, say hello, have a drink, have something to eat. Fun place to be. Like you said, Darin, great staff. Everybody's friendly. Love to see people with smiley faces come through the door.
You got Jimmy, Eddie, and Smokey all there together running the place. Jimmy Robinson, Eddie Robinson, and Smokey Robinson. It's a great place. Go to Brew on 2 Railroad Avenue and ask about their specials. Thank you very much.
Bring it on in.
We will be right back. Sports 845, Darin Kunis and Dick O'Neill. We are going to finish up with a little bit more Section 9. You know what? We talk football. We talk all that. We talk basketball. You pay attention a lot to soccer. You had a football note you wanted to mention. You said you were surprised, not that Cornwall beat Wallkill in football, but the score of the game.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me a little bit. Wallkill has a very good quarterback, and I thought they'd put up some points. At least I thought they would put up some points. I knew Cornwall would put up some points, but I thought Wallkill could possibly make it interesting early by scoring a few points. But they got really shut out and 40-0. Maybe Cornwall is maybe the team to beat. Nay, they usually are.
You know, I want to read something before you get to soccer. The great district attorney who joins us every now and then, David Hoovler, sent me a text today, and he knows Section 9 like better than anybody, or just as good as anybody.
Right.
The few things he mentioned, the bulletin points he mentioned. Marlboro 3-0 beat Goshen 7-6. He says Marlboro's defense is one of the best in the section.
Okay.
He said to watch out for a team that we haven't mentioned. Arlington is 4-0, and he said they're sneaky good. They score a ton of points.
Okay.
Cornwall looks dynamic. They have playmakers at all skill positions, and we hope to have David on one day. You know, mention soccer, and then I got 1 point to bring up. Talk about soccer. Who's the best soccer? Usually it's Goshen and Cornwall, right?
On the boys' side, in Class A, it's still Goshen and Cornwall.
Okay.
You know, for argument's sake. On the big school size, again, Monroe is very good. Newburgh is outstanding. And in the smaller schools, I'm not too familiar. Just from looking at records, some of them don't even have a winning record. So somebody could get to the tournament.
Goshen's good, right? The girls' soccer team?
Oh, yeah, Goshen girls. Pine Bush girls, I hear, are really very good.
Cornwall, I assume.
I had the Newburgh girls the other night. I thought they were very good. I refereed their game. Cornwall's usually pretty good. After that, I'm trying to think. I don't know.
What do they get in
no,
soccer?
Kingston girls are very good. And so are the boys.
What do they get in soccer? Red card, yellow card?
Red, yellow, yeah.
And you can get that for fighting, elbowing, or arguing with the ref?
A lot of, unsportsmanlike conduct.
You give out red's worse than yellow?
Yes.
You give out a red card this year?
I haven't even get out of yellow.
Not even a yellow.
No.
They can say whatever they want to you.
No, they can't.
No. They know not to.
I
respect.
growl a lot.
I wanted to mention one thing before we close. Mm-hmm. They just had the U.S. Open. Novak Djokovic won the Open. I know you're into tennis a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And they had a whole thing with Billie Jean King, 50th anniversary of women getting paid the same amount of money as equal pay, same amount of money as the men at the U.S. Open tennis tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that?
Yeah, with the kind of money they make, I do.
You do?
I do, yeah. With the kind of money it brings into New York City, I do.
Do you know? Here's a fact for you: the U.S. Open tennis tournament, and it's 2 weeks, but it's really 3.5 because the qualifying.
Right.
I don't know if you knew this, Rich. The U.S. Open tennis tournament brings in more money to New York city than the Yankees and the Mets combined
Combined.
for the whole season.
Right.
You remember, you got 128 on each side of the draw. You got coaches and families, and none of these players live locally.
No.
So their hotels, restaurants are
Right.
booked. Dick, I'm going to say something that probably will.
Most of the players are foreign. The tournaments are foreign players.
Yeah.
So they have to. Yeah.
I don't think the women should make as much as the men.
You don't.
And I'm going to tell you why. It's not any feministic stuff or anything like that. They play 2 out of 3. The men play 3 out of 5. Look at the scores of the first 3 or 4 rounds of the Women's U.S. Open. They're on the high seeds are on the court for 48 minutes. 6-0, 6-1 is a common score. When Djokovic goes out there in the first round, he's still out there for 2 hours. The other thing, and it could be point proven, but it'll never be proven, the U.S. Open up until years ago played the men's semifinal 1, the women's final in between, and then the men's other semifinal. They did that so there'd be fannies in the stands. You have the U.S. Open 1 week with just women, and you will not sell out Arthur Ashe Stadium until the final. If you sell it out. And we all know this. WNBA players don't make the money NBA players make because people don't go to their games. The women's tennis has come a long way. It's changed more than any sport I could imagine. But they're not doing as much as the men. That's my point. It's the money coming in. You have to count. The money doesn't come in for the women like it comes in for the men. It's not a disparaging remark. I'm not saying anything to be mean or rude.
Well, did you watch the women's final? Was the stadium packed? It was
Was
sold out.
it?
Sold out.
Okay.
Sold out.
No, I
Sold
didn't
out.
watch it. I couldn't even tell you who was in it.
Coco?
Oh, Coco Gauff. That's why it was sold out.
Well,
Because Coco Gauff.
whatever. But Coco and some.
Could you tell me 10 women tennis players?
Yeah, I could.
You could?
I
Okay.
can. I
All
can.
right.
Well, I watched the whole tournament pretty much.
I love
Yeah.
it. I watch it every night. I just can't get into
My
it.
wife really enjoys it. So,
And Diane would kill me for that comment. But it's
You-
not, I don't mean it to be
Yeah.
funny, witty, and it's not funny. But my point is, that's my point. That they don't bring in the money and the endorsements and it's changed. They do a little bit now, but it's changed. Dick, we will be back next week on a night to be determined. I'll talk to you about that. I got to speak to some people. But next week we hope to have either John Stevens of Goshen, Kevin Gallagher of Minnesink, or Damien over at Port Jervis. Starhowski does a great job with Port. They've been doing nothing but winning since he got there.
You got it.
And they have a great history.
Yeah, they do.
Anything you want to add?
No, I think we had a good show. I think some of these teams that are 0-3, we'll see how they play out. And the same way on the versus tonight. I think tonight could be an indication. We'll see what happens if Philly gets it going, or is Tampa Bay maybe for real?
We will find that out. Listen, I'm rooting for Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield. He's done nothing. I hope the guy does well.
Well, they're in that. What are they in that NFC South? I
Yeah.
mean, nobody stepped up in there.
Big injury yesterday. The Saints season could be in trouble if they have to go to Jameis Winston. Derek Carr went out with an injury.
Yeah, but
a lot of injuries in the NFL
week to
early.
week. Yeah, and big stars.
Yeah.
Big stars.
Yes, basically your entire
I
fantasy
think the
team.
first week, last week when we did it, I think the last team standing with a healthy quarterback and a healthy receivers and that kind of thing.
skill positions.
Skill position players will win it. Will win it.
See if he improves his,
Waddle, yeah.
Yeah, Waddle's got to get out of that.
Yeah.
Wandell Robinson.
Yeah.
Oh, Wandell Robinson.
Oh,
of the
Wandell,
Giants.
yes.
Yes, I'd rather have Waddle than Wandell.
Me too.
We will be back next week. Thank you. This is Sports 845.